So let's go to petcaredemo.com. I'm logged in as a manager. And if I go to my dashboard here, I have access to my staff settings. And under staff, there's this area called payroll. Payroll shows all my workers. And these happen to be the folks that have done actual work within this range of dates. And there's me. I'm the manager of the business, this test business. There's Stacy, Max, and Steven. And everyone has their own respective work. Some of these are calculated by percentage. Others are calculated by dollar amounts. And at the end, there's a subtotal for each worker. There's a subtotal of how much work hours they've done, as well as the total amount that's calculated for them to be owed. And some of these are empty because the services, in this case, a half-day daycare, has not been set up with a calculation. But it still provides you with the amount of time that they worked on for this half-day daycare in this case. Can you see my screen? I just want to double check. Everyone can see my screen? All right. So what we want to do is we want to set up these services with the calculations. And what you do is you go to every single service that you have in your system and you upgrade it with that setting. If we go to dog walking, for example, pick any one of your services. They're all going to have that payroll setting. So I'm going to edit this 45-minute dog walk to see what it's set up as. If I scroll down the service settings to payroll here, it's not enabled. So if I enable payroll, that means any worker or manager of the business that does the job will receive a calculation for a payment. And that calculation can be some fixed amount. So let this thing, it costs $40 in my case. Maybe you might want to pay them $20 for that effort. Alternatively, if I click percent, it would be like 20% of the total amount versus $20 from the total amount. In case one is wondering what's the difference between percent of price and percent of total price, that has to do with multiple pets versus single pets. So in the second case, it just ignores the number of pets, whereas in third case it doesn't. Typically, it's the first or third that are choices here, and this setting of 20% to pay out is only going to be applied to the 45-minute dog walk. So you're going to want to do this for every single service that you have in the system that you want calculated in a certain way. Evening dog walks, for example, will have payroll. In this case, it's $10 as a payout, not a percentage. If we go to that daycare that was previously not calculating anything, we can edit it to do so. This is the half-day daycare. I'm just going to edit it. And everybody can see my screen here. I'm going to enable the payroll. And I'm going to set it to percentage being, I don't know, let's say 70% in this case. After those three changes, let's go to my payroll settings under staff and payroll. And so if I look now at some of these things, half-day daycare, for example, is now set to 70%. Which is 70% of $40 is $28, which will go towards, the total amount owing, basically, which is here. Each worker will receive their own payroll report, and excuse me. And so, when Steven, for example, logs into his web app, the staff web app, they will see this entire piece of information just for them. And they can choose the range of dates as well. So it keeps everybody honest, I suppose, would be the best way of explaining it. You might be wondering what this extra brush add-on is. That's an additional add-on service that was added as part of this half-day daycare, except it doesn't have any settings for payroll. So that's why it's a dash there. So that pretty much concludes the payroll and how one can calculate percentages if you have independent contractors, for example. I'm just going to switch over here to the messaging, and I want to make sure there are no questions in that regard. Going once. Going twice. All right, sounds good. Next thing I'm going to do is talk a little bit about search engine optimization. In particular, oh, sorry, a question came in. So the question is, so if I am only using percentages, I pick the third option. That's correct. You pick the third option in each of the services that you defined so that it calculates percentage. So once again, just in case, I edit any service that I want to set up with payroll, and that third option, 1, 2, 3, that will be the percentage that will be taken out and given to the worker as a report function. Does that answer the question okay? Sounds good. Search engine optimization. That is a very high-level term, and it's used to apply to various techniques in order to improve your positioning or ranking when somebody searches for your business online. It is a function of many, many different efforts, some that are internal and part of your website. For example, what you write on your site and various changes that you make to your site so that it's better searched by Google, for example. And in other cases, search engine optimization can also be improved because somebody wrote about you in some sort of article or blog or linked your website to theirs. There's many different variables that can help you improve your ranking. With regards to how things are very, very unique in terms of the differentiators that we can bring to your website if you have a website with us, there are maybe 2 or 3 that I wanted to mention today. Now, the first thing is that because our web builder is also your software, the measurement of how long people spend on your website versus some third-party external system is no longer an issue. To give you a high level of what I'm talking about, our website technology, the Easy Busy Bets solution, also provides websites. And those websites are slightly different than the norm because they're alive. They actually address 4 different types of users. Actually, what I'll do is I'll type it up here. An Easy Busy Pets website, when you get hosted by us, will address the general public, pet owners, staff members, and managers separately. So if I were just to do the following, if let's say we were the general public and we went to petcaredemo.com, which is my demonstration website, we would arrive on the business website, but from the perspective of the general public. As you can see, one is not logged in here. It's a standard example site powered by Easy Busy Pets, hosted for free because of your subscription with us. And these could be prospective customers that arrive on your site to learn more about you, for example. Sign up, book, maybe just check your services, for example, to see if it's right for them. If I'm the manager of the business and I'm just using any device that the system is aware of that belongs to me, and I go to that .com, it'll take me to the manager's view of it. Namely, all the website pages are here, but I see my schedule, pets, clients, invoices, and dashboard here. Similarly, pet owners, if they went to petcaredemo.com, they would go to their dashboard. The key point here, folks, is that if a customer arrives on your website, they're staying on your website. They're not leaving to some third-party software. They're constantly running on your.com. And the theory behind all of this is that Google likes this. They like how much time you spend on the website. And if they measure that you're spending a lot more time, you, your customers, your staff are spending more time on your website, well, that just improves your ranking. And there's really nothing like this out there where you can get a software and your website in one place. And so the search engine optimization with regards to how long people spend on your system, on your website, is a huge differentiator that Easy Busy Pets can offer. Now, when you're editing your website pages, they have search engine optimization features. If I go to my homepage here on petcaredemo.com, I'm logged in as a manager, so I can do what I'm doing right now. I can, of course, edit the content. And everyone's going to tell you that your content is really important. What you write here, absolutely. It's going to be searchable by Google or Bing or the other search engines. And it's important as part of the information that they use in order to rank you with regards to in comparison to your competition. There's also very standard settings that you need to be aware of when you're building up your site. And this is not just a feature of Easy Busy Pets. The meta description is a hidden piece of information that when somebody searches for this business, they'll also find this information slightly below the main search term when you're searching for it. So for example, if I looked for Easy Busy Pets, which is our company, let's search on Google. Took me straight there, didn't I? Let's go to Google and let's search for Easy Busy Pets. So this is your SEO meta. Okay, so when you're typing something in here for your homepage, if somebody finds your homepage online, this is the content that's under the main title. And essentially, this is part of the searchability of your website. So as you can see, this Google's already highlighting some things that I searched for. It's searching your meta description here for that information. Also a very, very powerful place to make a change on your website for the benefit of SEO. I have this homepage link text, and I also have the title up here in the tab. If I change the title to test, but don't change the link text, I now have a title that says home test, but I have a link text that says home. This is great for visual experience, and this is great for you to replace test with content that's important on how people would find you. For example, best pet sitting and dog walking in the San Antonio area. And then you might add some extra fine-tuned details. And what that would mean is that Google would look for that piece of information in your title to see if your services are more relevant than your competition. And therefore, it's really important to be very specific for your title, not necessarily your link text, but your title, as well as your meta description to finalize, the performance of your website online. This is done for every single page that you have. So for example, on my contact us page, I'm going to have a completely different title description as well as meta description. So you can make changes to it and then iterate as you see the performance of your website getting better and better. Maybe try slightly different commentaries to see which one makes you more searchable. So there's three things that I discussed today. One is the meta description of your homepage. The second is to give your title a nice and distinct descriptive piece of highlighted information that people can find you better. And then the third is just the nature of the system itself, which is people don't leave your .com to work on the software. They stay on your .com. It's an all-in-one, which is a huge differentiator for those who are using the integrated pet website on Easy Busy Pets. And so hopefully that is a good start. The rest of your SEO, highly recommended that you just make sure that your content is descriptive. It's not trying to trick Google into finding it. It's legitimate and appropriate content that people would appreciate. And also make sure, if you can, that folks outside of your website, people who write blogs or friends or anybody who's willing to mention you, they do so and they mention your website, because that all counts towards the envelope, which is called search engine